Basketball, as one of the most popular sports globally, has a rich history and many aspects that are often overlooked. Here are some fascinating facts and lesser-known parts of basketball history. Here are 10 things you should know. 1. Invention and early days. 1891. Dr. James Naismith, a physical education instructor, invented basketball in 1891 at the International YMCA Training School in Springfield, Massachusetts. It was originally a way to keep students active indoors during the winter. Naismith came up with 13 basic rules and nailed a peach basket to the elevated track in the gym. The game was played with a soccer ball, and instead of the modern net, the peach baskets had solid bottoms, meaning the ball had to be manually retrieved after every basket too. The first game, 1891. The first game consisted of 9 players on each team, not 5 as it is today. The final score was 1-0, with a single point being scored by a player named John Jr. There was no dribbling at first, and players had to pass the ball or make a shot to advance it. 3. Early rules were very different. In the original rules of basketball, dribbling was not allowed in the traditional sense. Players could only bounce the ball once before passing it to a teammate. The concept of dribbling evolved as the game progressed. The first professional basketball league. The first professional basketball league, the National Basketball League, NBL, was formed in 1937. However, it wasn't until the 1949 merger between the Basketball Association of America, BIA, and the National Basketball League, NBL, that the modern-day NBA was created. The first dunk. Dunking the ball is one of basketball's most iconic moves, but it wasn't always common. It became prominent in the 1960s, with players like Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell incorporating it into their games. However, the dunk wasn't allowed in NCAA competitions until the late 1960s. The NCAA even banned dunking in the 1960s to 70s, fearing it was too dominant of a move for tall players like Lou Alcindor, later Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The first African-American NBA players. The NBA wasn't integrated until 1950, when Earl Lloyd became the first African-American to play in the league. Chuck Cooper and Nat Clifton followed that same year, breaking racial barriers in professional basketball. 7. The evolution of the basketball. Early basketballs were actually brown leather and did not have the distinctive orange color we recognize today. The color change to orange happened in the 1950s when a manufacturer, Spalding, produced the first bright orange basketball to make it more visible under the lights. The early balls were also much more difficult to grip and were often heavier. 8. The first NBA game was played in 1946. The first NBA game was played on November 1st, 1946, between the New York Knicks and the Toronto Huskies. The NBA was originally called the Basketball Association of America, BAA, before merging with the NBL. 9. The shot clock revolutionized the game. The introduction of the 24-second shot clock in 1954 revolutionized the game. Before the shot clock, teams could stall indefinitely, and games often became slow and unexciting. The shot clock forced teams to attempt a shot within 24 seconds, speeding up the pace and making basketball more dynamic. The significance of Michael Jordan's flu game. Michael Jordan's flu game, Game 5 of the 1997 NBA Finals, is one of the most iconic performances in sports history. Despite suffering from a severe illness, likely food poisoning, not the flu as often stated, Jordan scored 38 points to lead the Chicago Bulls to victory over the Utah Jazz, solidifying his legacy as a clutch performer.